Welcome on into this special edition of the Bear Report. I'm Stephen Johnson, along with Zack Pearson, and we are pleased to be joined by two special guests today. The Shuffle, a new HBO documentary debuting Tuesday, November 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern on HBO, will be available to stream on HBO Max, is the first in a new series of short football films made in partnership with NFL Films that chronicles the creation of the 1985 Chicago Bears song and music video, the Super Bowl Shuffle. And we are pleased to be welcomed by Pro Football Hall of Famer and Super Bowl champion Mike Singletary and director of the Shuffle, Jeff Cameron. Thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
And Jeff, we'll start with you. Where did the idea for shining the spotlight back on the Super Bowl Shuffle come from in creating this documentary?
Yeah, well, I think, at NFL Films, we're always mindful of anniversaries. And certainly, the 40th anniversary of that 85 Bears championship team is a special one, and we knew it was a big one. And I think along with that, the realization that outside of some news articles or some print media, no one had really chronicled the genesis and creation of this music video, of this cultural phenomenon that's so intertwined with that team and that time. So I think that, combined with this new series of short documentaries we're doing with HBO, it felt like a good story for that format. Not quite long enough for a feature or a multi-part series by any stretch, but a hyper focused deep dive on that 12-week span from when the Shuffle came to the Bears, when they recorded it, and of course when they won the Super Bowl and made good on their risky endeavor.
Mike, it's the 40th anniversary. Legendary team. Chicago's still, starving for another title. But with the Super Bowl Shuffle, did you ever expect, all these years later that it would, have such a big impact to this day?
No, I really didn't. I really felt like we did the Super Bowl Shuffle, did the video, and thankfully we won the Super Bowl. And I thought, hey, that was really cool. And, it's going to go away, but it didn't. And it's still everywhere you go, even in airports or wherever you travel. Somebody always asks, hey, can you do the Super Bowl Shuffle? No, cannot. But it's pretty cool.
And so the documentary, talking about how, Willie Gall kind of came in and said, hey, we want to do this. We got to get this together. He came to you as the first guy on the defense to gather everybody together. But I am curious because it wasn't really talked about too much. What was Mike Ditka's response when he heard about all of this and what you guys were doing in planning and recording these?
When I went to Coach Ditka and mentioned to him about doing the Super Bowl Shuffle, he just said, Mike, you know what? As long as you guarantee me that it does not interfere with football, I'm good. And I said, it will not interfere with football. Of course, we lost to Miami, and that didn't go well. But, nonetheless, we shot the video, we got together, we really enjoyed each other, came together as a team, refocused. And I really believe that it's something that galvanized our team to really singularly focus on winning the Super Bowl or really look like a bunch of idiots 20 years, 30 years, 40 years later.
Jeff, when you're putting together this project and you're getting to talk to, these guys are legends, in the city of Chicago and in the NFL world. Is there anything you learned maybe about the Super Bowl Shuffle, the players that you maybe didn't know? Because when I watched it, I there were some things I picked up that I'm like, wow, I didn't actually know that. Now, we'll get to some later, but was there anything that you kind of picked up on?
So it's fun. I had the chance to meet or interview Mike Singletary before this project. But the day of the interview, he arrived, and he is, as you can see, he's the nicest man, incredibly gracious and soft-spoken and reserved. But in the middle of the interview, we're talking about the point in the story in which they've lost to Miami on Monday Night Football, and the following morning, they now have to go record this music video, kind of like Mike was saying. And as he's retelling the story, it's kind of on him to get the guys back up for this. Some guys are trying to back out. Maybe they're a little hesitant now that they don't want to do the music video after this loss. And it's on Mike to huddle them, to get him back, enthusiastic, to motivate him. And in the interview, he kind of raised his voice and his eyes got wide. And I was like, oh, that's right. I'm sitting across from Mike Singletary, one of the most intimidating linebackers of the 1980s. He still got it. So that was I learned very quick. Oh, yeah, that was a good reminder of who I was interviewing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And Mike, you were talked about as a perfectionist in the documentary for your portion of the music video. When you attach your name to something, you want it to be the best that it can be. When you look back at it now, is there anything that you would change or do differently given your mindset at that time?
You know what? I don't think there's anything that I would change. I think it's amazing to me the preparation that went into it. The gentleman that actually shot the video, all of the preparation, pre-work, all of those things that really went into this video was pretty amazing, and it shows. I think that the choreography and the music, the soundbite, I mean, all the lyrics, it was really, really well done.
Jeff, when you were putting this together, and when Bears fans watch this, NFL fans watch this, what do you hope they learn from this documentary?
I hope they appreciate how unique of a moment in time it was. This is obviously before social media, any sort of viral, in the sense that we know that word today. My hope is that younger fans kind of, if they hadn't heard about this, they kind of learn about it and how big of a deal it was before you had everything at your in your hand, and also for people who maybe were there to experience it, to kind of relive what it was to be in your living room or in your kitchen, watching these guys and being part of that city at that time.
And Mike, you talk about how there's people that ask you to do the shuffle all these years. What do you think that younger generation before the documentary now, and being able to retell this story from your point of view and how everything that went into it, what is most misunderstood about that cultural moment and being able to live it as a member of that experience?
Well, I think that as the Bears, the Chicago Bears, and being this tough team, nasty, ferocious, knocking people out, taking names, kicking tail, it was a group of guys at heart that really loved each other and really could appreciate the differences, getting to know each other at a whole different level that we had never really known each other before. And you're laughing together, you're dancing together, you're singing, and it's like, I like this guy. He's not a bad guy. It was amazing how you got to know guys in a different way than you ever would have before.
Mike, I saw you at the game yesterday. You were on the big board watching the Bears, and I thought they were going to ask you to suit up if they lost another linebacker. You're in great shape. I'm sure you could go out there, but I'm curious your dancing, because in the documentary, they bring up that you were teaching guys how to dance. I think it was Leslie Frazier that, yeah, God bless him, but he couldn't get it. Where did that dancing background come from? And you still got the moves?
You know what I tell people all the time? They say, well, what are your habits? What do you do for fun? It seems like you're always serious. I love to sing and I love to dance and I love to read. Those are things that I love to do. And so dancing, I'm the last of 10 kids. So you had to learn how to dance to be in my family. So I always had a little rhythm.
And for the entirety of the NFL's history since that 85 team, there's been 13 different franchises that have attempted to do these songs and music videos. And you ended the documentary showing the rebuttal, per se, by the Patriots, which we'll leave it at that. What do you think, has made it such an embraceable experience, not only by Bears fans, but really by the NFL as a whole, being kind of the first to step out there and do that?
We were a team that we had a bunch of guys that were really unique in their own way. When you think of Walter Payton, you start with Walter Payton. Walter is a guy that tremendous dancer, and he could sing, and he could play some pretty good football. And then you got Jim McMahon, no telling what he's going to do at any given time or say. So he's just a really unique individual. Got Willie Gault, one of the fastest guys in the world. And so you go down the line, Otis Wilson, you knock you out at any point in time. Wilbur Mark. I mean, it's just Fridge, this rookie phenomenon. It's pretty incredible. Richard Dent the list goes on, but we all came together. It's amazing how we all came together and worked together and were able to really produce something that was really, really unique.
That's awesome. And Jeff, it's not a question for me, but I just want to say great job on this. I grew up a Bears fan. I cover the team now. I wasn't alive during the 85 season, but my family was, I've heard, and you did a really good job doing this. And Mike, you great dance moves, and you guys knocked it out the park there with it, man.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
I honestly would not have known that came after, I think you said you got 4 or 5 hours of sleep on a flight back from Miami. And all things considered with what went into the preparations for the video that day. But the Shuffle debuts Tuesday, November 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern on HBO, streaming on HBO Max. Jeff, Mike, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you. God bless.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Good, better, bad. Good, better, bad. Never let it ride.